Have you been playing guitar for a while and you're like, man, I don't know, I don't seem to be getting any better? Are you a beginner and you're just completely lost and you don't know what to do? Hit me up for a one-on-one consultation. Friends, Brian here for Yes You Can Play Guitar, and we are going to do another one of reading your comments. So we are going to do this. So we did a Nightwish reaction. We got lots of Nightwish stuff going on, Patreon. But Song of Myself 2013 with Floor Jansen singing. And we are going to read your comments, and we're going to talk about it, give you all a shout out. And I like doing these videos because it's my chance to acknowledge all of you, because without all of you, my channel would be nothing. Okay? So, and of course, now that I'm recording, we got the tractors going by, the heavy machinery. I was trying to record earlier for YouTube. And the old neighbor, I had the lights set, everything. Then I had the neighbor fire up his lawn tractor. It's the life of a YouTuber, folks. You get all the lighting set up, you're just about to hit record, and then your neighbor pulls out the lawn tractor. You're like, oh, I'm going to get this noise in the background if I record. That's really nice to have in the background noise when you're trying to record, right? You guys deserve better than to have that background noise. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so Song of Myself 2013 comments, okay? My good friend at WNY Retiree. WNY, does that mean Watertown, New York? What does that mean? I've been to Watertown many times. Anyway, this is one of my 3 favorite Nightwish songs. Floor knocks it out of the park as usual, very true. But to me, the best part of this song is the way that the entire band seems to be so into it. From Yuka moving his entire body in rhythm with the song, to Marco belting the song totally off mic, something Tuomas does often, but I don't recall seeing Marco do in any other song. To Floor almost seeming to stalk that mic at the end of the song. They all just seem to be enjoying themselves and the music so much. That's what makes a band rise from the good to the outstanding. You have to enjoy what you're doing. It's very true, right? And you got to get along. If you're in a band, you got to like the people you're on stage with. It's very important. My good friend Gabriel Bardak. Okay, love Gabe's post. He's very informative about Nightwish. For me, this song is more than metal. It tells the story of a state of depression, lived partially consciously and partially in a trance. The first part with sudden changes of dynamics and piano intermezzos is the conscious part. This is interesting. A song of me, a song in need. Of a courageous symphony, a verse of me, a verse in need. Okay. Of a pure heart singing me to peace. Then the breakdown with the headbang sessions creating a real groove. This is the trance, semi-conscious part. Sometimes the inside is piano black. Piano black over cleansing waters. Finally, the lead motive of the whole song repeated twice. All that great heart lying still and slowly dying. All that great heart lying still on an angel wing. Okay. Many of us, including me, have gone through something like this, and we recognize it and what we feel when we listen to this song. The difference is that Tuomas and Nightwish have the talent and the ability to give it an explicit form. It was the favorite song of the late Anne Waychoff, an elderly lady from Pennsylvania. Yes, and I have to research more about this with Anne, okay? Because when I did the initial reaction video, I let it play the recording of me and the recording of the song when I went into kind of the poetry at the end, and I was really lost, man. Like, I was like, I have no idea what the hell is going on here. But this, from what you're telling me, this is going to start making more sense to me, okay? An elderly lady from Pennsylvania who dedicated the last years of her life to the promotion of Nightwish music. Oh, that's so cool. In her honor, several fans glued the live performance from Wacken 2013 with the last section of the song from the studio version called Love, and which is not suitable for live performance in concert. Okay, that makes more sense to me now. Thank you so much, Gabe. Always love your posts, and they're always very informative. Okay, and everyone else in the comments really likes Gabe too. They have another a conversation going, and that's great. And depression is a topic I could get into. Let's just say we all have our own battles, and you know, this is the thing about this YouTube channel, guys. You know, I'm a professional musician. I'm an instructor. You know, but ultimately, what I want most for this channel is that we can all come together, We can enjoy music together. But we can also just agree to disagree or agree to agree, enjoy it together. If we don't completely agree, we can just talk. Okay, you know, that's cool, but not my thing or whatever. You know, it's all good. You know, this is a place where I want people to be able to come and just relax, enjoy it. We can interact in the comment section. That's really cool. Okay, great postscape as always. At obud3777, and there forever remains the change from G to E minor. Rest in peace, Anne. Okay. G to E minor, they're very related musically. E minor is a relative minor of G. At Chris 06719, favorite song of the late Anne Waychoff, mother of the Nightwish Army, yes. Inspired the 19th century, the same name by Walt Whitman, one of Tuomas' favorite poets. From, you know, we were speaking of depression earlier. Rudyard Kipling. I believe the poem was called If. That poem has helped me through a few hard times in my life. Right? When you think you're at the end of your rope, that poem for me really helped me. If by Rudyard Kipling. If you take the time to really read it. But poetry is something, you know, when I was young I didn't get it, but I get poetry now. Okay? From the 2011 Imaginarian album recorded with Annette. That ending spoken section was written by Tuomas in an ode to the original poem. It was voiced by friends and family of the band. The poem isn't played live, but the words are on the big screen behind the band. Song number 14 of 15 here, right after Ghost Love's score. Read more. Tuomas was very well read, taking inspiration from many poets and authors as well as classical composers. He's a big fan of Disney and Hans Zimmer. Me too. Love Hans Zimmer. As an exchange student in the USA, he was taken to concerts like Metallica and Guns N' Roses. By the way, Marco was born January 66. So I knew he was in that, you know, Marco's got a few years on me there. There were only a couple of shows left on the tour after this one. The following summer is when Yuka stepped away from the drums. Okay? It's interesting to hear about Yuka's insomnia. I wonder if that was... Sorry about that, guys. I clicked the wrong button here. Just making sure we're recording. I just wonder if that has anything to do with the pressure of the touring and the pressure of performing on such a high level. It's not for everybody. Clive Matthews 5296. The poem at the end was used on the album and written by Tuomas as a tribute to Walt Whitman, who wrote a poem called Song of Myself. This version is made by a fan adding the poem to the live performance. Okay, cool. Great post. Thank you, Clive. Tarkus. Tarkus is a friend. Tarkus is a Patreon. And let me tell you guys, I know you guys have heard the spiel and you're probably going, oh God, this crazy old guy. But we don't make the money on YouTube that people think we do, especially doing reaction videos. So when people sign up for my Patreon, even for a month or two, it really means a lot. It really helps. Thanks for doing my suggestion and for the shout out. Tarkus, of course, man. Of course. This song was 14th in the 15-song set list and immediately followed Ghost Love's score. For me personally, it's a highlight of this fantastic show. I love the different parts, and Floor and Marco never sounded better together. Have any of you guys been to Wacken? Myself being a slight social phobe, but I would like to check Nightwish out if they ever come to my area. If they ever tour in Montreal again, I'd like to go see them. Maybe I'll meet some of you there. Maybe we'll go out for some poutine or some smoked meat later. And there's so many little treats here and there, such as the piano parts just before the chorus and Marco starting that one verse before handling it over. Read more. Handing over to Floor in a smooth transition, and then those awesome high parts at the end with the pyro synced to the percussion. So cool. I'm not a fan of the extended version, so I'm glad you skipped over that spoken part at the end. I'm getting it now, but I actually have that. Maybe we should do an extended feature version of that, but I was watching going, I have no idea what the hell's going on here. I just got lost, and that happens a lot with me, with a lot of things. Not just Nightwish reactions, but it's from the album version, arguably fits there, but totally kills the vibe following the high-energy live performance. Kai is a phenomenal drummer, and you'll find that they still have the magic with him. It's just different. He doesn't have Yuka's showmanship, but that man can play. They have, it's very important to always play with a good drummer, folks. I did a video a few months ago, my top 10 red flags, maybe, playing in bands, and over the years, and it doesn't matter how great the band is, if your drummer ain't good, your band ain't going to be very good, okay? They have 3 very popular concerts with Kai: Wembley, Tampere, and Buenos Aires. So you'll have plenty of opportunity to check him out in the future. Thanks again and have a good one. Thank you, Tarkus. All the support means the world to me. At Makem9414, I'll always put one candle to Anne, okay, inside my mind when listening to the song. Thank you for your actions. Greeting from Finland. Nightwish fan since 1998. God, that seems like such a long time ago now. Back then I had hair, worked a regular job. Now that was before I got into teaching music and guitar and performing professionally full time. But I had been doing it a long time. Okay, 1998. Wow. The song is for you, Anne. Your flaming. This is at Timo Arula. Okay, your flaming passion lives on in us. So he tells us a little more about Anne. Excellent. And okay, and he posts a link here. For me, this song has some serious Pantera vibes. Okay, cool. Pure fire and great song, especially the poem. Sadly not included in this section. Oh well. Okay, great post. Thank you so much. And I appreciate when people post the live links for me. Scott Prentice 6815. Scott's posted on some videos before. Good reaction. Thanks. Since we're talking Mr. Haitala, if you haven't checked out The Islander from the Tampere show, that has a totally different vibe and gives us a glimpse of Marco as a frontman, but still in a Nightwish setting. Okay, thank you so much, Scott. And he had a reply by at Anzigream and high hopes from an end of an era, a true Pink Floyd tribute. You guys have mentioned Empu's soloing on that. It is on the list of reactions, okay? We've just started with Nightwish, folks. This is what I'm hoping, okay? I'm not promising, but this is what I'm hoping. I'm hoping, I'm doing Nightwish content, some deep dives into the band. I've had some Nightwish fans join my Patreon, which means the world to me. And I'm hoping down the road, once I'm up to speed with my knowledge of the band, I can actually approach the band and their management of doing some interviews and maybe having some of my patrons who are big Nightwish fans joining me and meeting them and interviewing them via Zoom. Robert Sheeler, 321. Robert's commented before. You are correct. They were the headliner that night. Note, Alice Cooper was on stage before Nightwish. Okay, cool. At Monique Vanaken, 2638. This is one of my favorite songs. The power Floor and Marco have in belting. In an interview, Marco once said that is the reason he liked to sing with Floor. Another reactor once remarked that Marco hardly looks at his guitar while he's playing the guitar, and that's so true. It is tricky when you see people playing bass or guitar, playing some, I learned this in my vocal lessons many years ago. I was never a great vocalist. I could barely just do a good job singing, a relatively easy song. But when you're playing guitar and you're trying to coordinate that, it takes up more of the oxygen that you need to sing. So that is pretty impressive with Marco. Marcelino Feliciano PR, okay? Nightwish and Floor fill the stage. You need a certain kind of presence on stage to be able to capture a large crowd. Very true. There's something about Floor Jansen and her vocal, and then the way the band musicians just fill are charismatic and draw people into their performance. Nightwish y Floor illuminan el escenario. Hey, could tener. Okay, I'm not the best at speaking. I think that's Spanish. I'm very sorry, but a great post, Marcelino. I appreciate you posting that. At Morbius Lenoir, Tuomas is the heart and soul of Nightwish. Apparently so. At Joe Kell 55, this is a tribute to the poem in 52 chapters. Talks about Walt Whitman. Buckle up, it goes very deep. Yes. And Joe posted the lyrics to this, and all the longer posts, Joe, I go back and I reread them just for time. I when I'm doing my read the comments. But I really appreciate you taking the time to do that. Okay, and my good friend at Jaska AU 2462, my good friend, there's a 2-part documentary, Finding Walt Whitman, around the webs, most likely on some streaming service as well. Okay, very cool. All right. At Frank WD1, rest in peace, Anne. When she passed away, June 28th. Actually, that anniversary is coming up relatively soon because today's the 22nd. And was a big Nightwish fan, and every new person who listened to Nightwish, she went through a little chat. I'm looking forward to learning more about Anne and our Nightwish journeys for sure. Very great post in honor of a wonderful woman. So it'll be the anniversary of her passing in a few days. At Arnaldo Tanta 3630, for Anne, we miss you, but you will always be in our hearts. This was your favorite Nightwish song and will always be your song. Rest in peace, my dear. We will never forget you. You're a breeze and a hurricane to all Nightwish fans and all new reactors. You are the mother of the Nightwish army, and we will always be grateful for that. R.I.P. and Waichoff. Okay. At Papa Verweg, try High Hopes live at the End of an Era concert 2005. Finland, tribute to Pink Floyd. Yes, I've heard about this one many, many times. You'll love all the guys playing together, especially Marco and Empu. Okay, excellent. James Coleman, 8954. Such an incredible band, but I have to say I like them better live than in the studio. They just sound so clean, crisp, and tight. And they do. That tells you how much they rehearse. Okay, they're obviously a very hardworking band. She is magic. He's talking about Flora. I'm not crapping on the other two singers. I just love Flora more than any of them. So I'm going to tell you guys something. I recorded a reaction video earlier today, and it was the song Nemo, and it was comparing all three singers. And I gave my honest thoughts as a musician, a pseudo-singer, which I am not. All three women are a million times more talented singing than I could ever hope to be. I'm right now, as I'm going through this, in the back of my head, although I'm not good at multitasking, I'm debating, do I post it, keep it for Patreon? Because we have some Nightwish fans that have been signing up, or do I post it on YouTube? I'm not sure what to do. At Wimvank 7463. Marco did not have an issue with Nightwish. He had enough of the stealing music industry. Yes, it can play a lot of, it can damage a lot of people, that's for sure. Let's just say that, okay? Yuka left for health reasons, suffering a huge insomnia problem, but he's still doing work in one or the other way with Nightwish. Just for your information. Carry on, play guitar. Nice comments as usual. Thank you so much at Wimbank, I appreciate it. At SC Web, okay? SC, I believe, has commented in some other videos. Tuomas had no interest in metal and planned on pursuing a career in marine biology. He was on an exchange program in Kansas. Marine biology in Kansas. Is there a lot of, like, water in Kansas? I don't think there's, like... Oh, it's an interesting place to go for marine biology, but when the family he was staying with took him to see Metallica on the Black Album tour, he said it completely changed... So that would have been back in 91, 92-ish. He says that completely changed his view of music and his life. When he first started putting the band together, he thought it would be an acoustic project, but Epu and Yuka convinced him and Tarja that they would be a metal band instead. Interesting. Very interesting. Hans Zimmer is also a major influence, which speaks to the orchestral parts of Nightwish. My friends, who doesn't love Hans Zimmer? From the first time I heard the first few notes of Miami Vice. Miami Vice, guys. We're talking like 1984 here. I was 11. I knew I was a Hans Zimmer fan. I love his stuff. I actually have some of his stuff on my playlist. Low Gains. At Low Gains. Oh, being a gym guy, you know, I don't lift as crazy as I used to, but low gains, don't like seeing that. You got to get the gains, my friend. You got to, whatever you're taking or doing, you got to fix that. Love the reaction. We'll say Empu can definitely shred when needed. There are plenty of examples just from this show. My personal favorites being Ghost River and Romanticide. Cool. Go get those gains, my friends. No low gains. High gains. Okay? At Thorgrim 247, my good friend Thorgrim. Love Thorgrim's post. The poem at the end is added by a fan to this video. Okay, so he talks about that. Walt Whitman. Before Flora joined Nightwish, they were lacking a spokesperson on stage. Marco and Tarja would speak to the audience and introduce the songs. Neither one had a good enough handle on the English language. But I got to tell you, as a Westerner, who English is my primary language, Quebecois, French, my second, I actually think that Marco can speak English better than me. I actually find a lot of people from the Scandinavian countries and a lot of European countries that aren't English, like Germany, Holland, I actually think that they speak English better than we do, just being honest. Let's see, Flora is a great front person, able to speak good English. She can speak English, Dutch, and Swedish, as well as some German. This allows her to communicate clearly to many audiences, and she is so lovable and welcoming to all the fans. I think if you pay attention to Tuomas and Empu's reaction and big smiles at Vaken, you will see how pleased they were with how Flora took command and seamlessly made a strong connection between the band and the audience. Like, let's be honest, Ghost Love Score at Vaken was one of the most amazing live performances of all time. This, in my opinion, is a huge part of the magic of Nightwish, and yes, the combination of Floor and Marco was something very special in the world of metal. I miss both Marco and Jukka, but I have total respect for Jukka Koskinen and Kai. Both excellent musicians, however, not quite able to fill the void left in the band. Musically, yes, but persona and flamboyant performance, no. Very unfair to expect those from the new members. You know, anytime, now again, I'm speaking from someone who, you know, on a much smaller regional level, you change a person in the band, the chemistry will change. I always think of a funny story where this very average bar band I played in, we had a drummer who had difficulties. He didn't realize that he had difficulties, but he did. His meter was up and down all the time. And we had an audition for an A club, meaning a really good club, better pay, better exposure. And the promoter told me, he said, dude, you know, your band has some good things going for it, but you'll never be back with that drummer. And started causing some problems in the band. Eventually, he left, got the boot, however you want to see it. And then we had a much better drummer come in, and man, did he ever bring in a whole new set of problems. And it really changed the chemistry, and you know, I was very thankful that I left that band soon after. Good riddance. But yes, when you change a member, it can just change everything, even if they're a better musician. Musically, yes, but persona and flamboyant performance, no. Very unfair to expect those from the new members. Okay, great post as always, my good friend Thorgrim. At 67, Gabe Lang. So what's with this ats all the time here? Is this like a new YouTube thing? At 67, Gabe Lang. For me, Tuomas' compositional prowess is a revelation. He's a modern master that, due to the genre he favors, will not get the plaudits he justly deserves. I'm 56. I've indulged in music all my years. My father brought me up on the greats of the 50s to 70s. I've listened to and explored multiple genres, though I've always favored the chunkier end of the town. Me too. I cannot think of a rock composer who's in Tuomas' class. Yes, there's Eno. Yes, you have the genius of the likes of Dream Theater, whom I love, but Tuomas not only writes complex and emotional music with great lyrics, he writes music that is accessible to millions, the main block being termed a metal band. I've developed a deep respect in a very short time, all thanks to C19 and the advent of reactors who choose to explore the metal genre. And for that, I'm eternally grateful. Okay, great post. 67 Gabe Lang, appreciate it. At Wolverine 669, Tuomas once said that his top 3 musical influences are James Newton Howard, okay, interesting, Hans Zimmer and Vangelis. So he likes a lot of the film composers, and I can relate to that. And sometimes, you know, even now as you guys are watching this, you notice I put music in the background. You know, just kind of keep things upbeat and moving. You know, a lot of the music I write now is just backing tracks for my YouTube videos. But I definitely do like people that write music scores. So, you know, Danny Elfman, James Horner is one of my favorite, like the Braveheart soundtrack, the Alien soundtrack. He mentions Vangelis here, which is, you know, I love Blade Runner. I actually have a couple of, some of the Vangelis songs on my playlist when I'm out driving. I'll listen to, I think one of them's Blade Runner Blues maybe, or, but yeah, that's very cool, okay? At Paul Chapman, 2569, I've seen Paul's post before. Nightwish Army, South Brittany, France reporting, and there forever remains that change from G to E minor. Rest in peace, and if you want to know more Tuomas, send him a message. Obviously depends on his calendar, but he's open to interviews. Well, as I said, Paul, this is the plan, okay? You know, on my channel, I cover a lot of things. Different, you know, we're doing Nightwish. You know, I'm doing a bit of a Japanese metal thing happening right now. A lot of our core followers are big Prince fans. I did a deep dive with Prince. I like to cover a lot of things. Plus, I do interviews. It's been quiet lately for the interviews, but that's because it's the summer. Most of the bands are out on the road now. That's how they have to make their money when the weather's nice. And, you know, I do guitar lessons and, you know, different guitar tip videos. They don't get as big of a, views as some of my other videos, which is too bad. But my plan is to eventually get up to speed with understanding about this band. So I'm educated enough to go and interview the band for my channel and hopefully bring one of my patrons. We might do like a draw or something for one of my patrons who's a big Nightwish fan to come with me on Zoom and interview them with me. That is my ultimate plan. Okay, great post as always. I really appreciate that. Okay, Paul. At Cecile Peters 4696, there's a documentary about Tuomas Madio. The documentaries are from Nightwish are amazing. So what I'm doing with the documentaries, I'll read them and I'll go over them. And what I do on Patreon is it's more of like a deeper dive. So right now we're just going through, learn the set list in 48 hours. Then there's one about Floor Jansen. And I'm going to go through all the documentaries on Patreon. So, and we talk about Nightwish more there. The documentaries, okay, and the making of Endless Forms most beautiful. Well, thank you so much, Cecile. Great post. Mercury 5, from the interview Marco released a few months ago, Marco quit because he was really sick from depression. He even quit in the best way possible. Has to put a stop to any speculation. Said it like it is. Very cool. Great post. At Obud3777, love your posts. Tribute to the poem Song Myself by U.S. poet Walt Whitman. Thank you. Okay, excellent. At Donna C267. Okay, he or she posts part of the song, Tom's influences, everything, all poetry, nature, life, etc. Okay, cool. At Andy Yohill 7476, to have a lot more Vampu, try High Hopes. Absolutely, that's been mentioned several times, Andy. So it's coming. It's coming. At Herman Van Wyzen 2660, did you react already to Arion? No. If not, start the video with The Day the World Breaks Down with 11 of the world's best metal singers. Okay, cool. Then start diving into the Arion rabbit hole with Everyone Dies, followed by The Age of Shadows Live. You will also hear a lot of great guitar musicians. Very cool. Thank you so much, Herman. Jaskow 2467, Not So Silent Symphony. Cool. Love your post, Jaskow. Okay. Rodolfo Tartin 435, Nightwish, Devil in the Deep Dark Ocean, live in Buenos Aires. Okay. Noted. Okay. At Richard Mead 5969. Thought it was a good reaction. Thanks from Colorado. Cool. I have some friends in Colorado. Very cool. So I am 21 years older, graduated high school in 1970. Grew up seeing the best rock bands here and in Euroland. Consider Nightwish top 5 rock band of all time. Maybe see a few more and make your own opinion. Absolutely. We got my good friend Amy Goodson, Cat Lady. Even if you didn't care for or understand the poem, right up front was a memoriam screen with a name. I wish you'd given that more reverence. But you know what? Good post, Anne. I want to learn more about Amy. I want to learn more about Anne. So we'll definitely look more into that for sure. Thank you so much. I always love your posts. Okay. At Daz Jackson, 1988. 1988, I was in grade 10. What were you guys doing in 1988? Well done for clipping the end. It's cringy for reactions in my view. The full version is given its proper context if you listen to the entire Imaginarium album. Probably why Nightwish clipped it for live shows. At German_1, check out Hellfest 2022. Floor looks and sounds great and carries that show just fine without Marco. Secretly, I think Marco regrets leaving the band, from international rockers to just tagging along with other bands. A Mercedes to a Volkswagen Beetle. Him and Tarja this summer. Yes, I did a reaction video to the first time him and Tarja got together and performed in 2017 a few weeks ago. So Marco leaving Nightwish, and we have a conversation going on here about your post. I'll let you guys talk amongst yourselves. Marco leaving Nightwish kind of reminds me of Jason Newsted leaving Metallica. You know, he was there for some time. I think for a lot of people that do that, you leave a massive band, it would be quite an adjustment going to just having your own band. The buck stops with you. It's your name. You have to pay everybody. You have to take on everything. I'm sure that was a big adjustment. I talk about that more, I think, on our Patreon, because I did a reaction video to Death March for Freedom by Marco and his band from Hungary. And I talk about that more in detail there, about like how that would be an adjustment. But you know what? If Marco's happier and healthier mentally and physically, all the more power to him. Okay. My good friend Jason Marshall, 7572. So looking forward to the Wembley 2015 concert. There's some great songs on there, not the Wacken concerts. Okay, cool, Jason. Excellent. It's noted. We will. I'm just checking the time. The video's about to stop. Here we go. So I'm looking at the clock because we're doing a live Patreon meet and greet on Zoom soon. So I'll try and get this finished as fast as I can. But I want to give each one of you a fair amount of time. And yeah, at Similar Tracks, Marco has been called Gandalf. Nice seeing you down the Nightwish rabbit hole. Thank you so much, Similar Tracks. At Similar Tracks. Wait a second. I think I've actually done some breakdowns to your videos at Similar Tracks because last week on my Patreon, because one of my so I've got two Patrons, a reaction community, and a guitar Patreon for guitar players. And when someone in the guitar reaction community asked me about Seven Spires versus Baby Metal, and he posted a link. He tends to show me links. I think it's to your channel. Did you do a comparison? So on my Patreon, I took the video, but I did a breakdown explaining, no, they're not the same. And I talked about the notes and what they were doing. So I'm familiar with your channel, man. In fact, so let me go to your channel, and I'm going to subscribe. There we go. So, thank you so much, Similar Tracks. Go check out Similar Tracks' channel sometimes, guys. He's got some interesting stuff there. Okay? Jeffrey Phipps, 1507. The spoken part is on the screen during the song. Is probably from the movie. Okay? At JP Souther, 1183. Marco was born 66. He got all the cool hair for that year. I am too, from 1966. Okay, cool. And share your hairstyle, not Marco's. Yeah, I was thinning out years ago, man. It's kind of funny on my guitar Patreon for guitar players. When I had a really busy music school, I had about 100 students. I actually had teachers working for me. So this was a little over 10, 11 years ago. I had a YouTube channel, but I just, but I did all these videos, but it was more to promote locally. You know, I didn't understand the bigger picture of YouTube at the time. You know, so I'd see like, you know, Marty Schwartz and Justin Guitar and those. I'm like, who are these idiots? They're posting their guitar lessons for free on YouTube 10 years ago. Well, look at them now. Who was right and who was wrong? But anyway, I had recorded a whole bunch of videos, hundreds of videos for back then. And the videos are awful, right? But I'm talking about good content, good stuff for guitar players, like, you know, sweep arpeggios or legato or speed picking or theory, how to tune guitars. But the videos are bad. The lighting isn't good. I don't know how to speak in front of the camera. So one of the perks I do for my guitar Patreon community is I'll post those old videos. I posted one doing, it was like a triplet exercise. I do it like, man, I was a technique freakazoid. My technique's still good, but back then it was like 350 beats per minute doing this triplet exercise. I'm like, how the hell did I do that? But the videos are so bad. I have hair, so they're just so bad to watch, but the content's good for a guitar player. So it's kind of one of the perks for my Patreon guitar community. I'll post those videos up from the vault. Embarrass myself. But great post. Thank you so much, JP. At Tarmo Tyrese 67833, okay? Copy this from Wikipedia. So he talks about Tuomas. And, okay. Oh, Tiamat. The Gathering. My Dying Bride. These are bands. I remember Tiamat from like the 90s. Okay, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Longer posts, I like to go back and reread, but I really appreciate you taking the time to post or copy and paste this. It means a lot. Jamie Bearings, 9753, 7 Days to the Wolves at Wembley, 2015. Okay, noted, Jamie. Okay, I don't know what's going on. I'm not a big Instagram. Someone called me from the United States. Hello?
This is Amazon. This call is to authorize the payment of $799 for your recent order on Amazon for Apple iPhone 11. If you did not place this order, then please press 1 and speak to our representative. Thank you. This is Amazon. This call is to authorize the payment of $799 for your recent order on Amazon for Apple iPhone 11. If you did not place this order, then please press 1 and speak to our representative. Thank you.
You can't even answer your phone these days because of all the scams going on, folks. A $700 order with Amazon. Whatevs. At Richard Mead, 5969. Wow, you have a friend named Tarkus? Emerson, Lake and Palmer. Okay, cool. That's a good one. Okay, my good friend at Mars is Foreign. Okay, great post as always. I love the positivity. I love positivity here, folks. At World Peace, 5758. My phone, okay, I was talking about my Instagram is blowing up today. What was I just talking about? Oh yeah, okay. My reactions, my poker face. So this is the thing about doing reaction videos. You guys know I'm not the type that I'm not going to do backflips and all, but sometimes I can throw in some pretty off-the-wall humor. But sometimes if my face is a hard read, sometimes that's a good thing because that means I'm really sucked into the performance, and then I have to tell myself, dude, you're doing a reaction video. Like, so sometimes it's a good thing. And then sometimes I get criticized for talking too much. So I'm trying to find that right balance for what I'm doing. But anyway, I just wanted to tell you guys that I appreciate you, okay? My channel is still relatively small, but it's growing. I don't want to be like one of those bigger channels that they don't show appreciation to the viewer. I never want to be that way. I do the very best I can. You know, YouTube, you know, especially when you do like reaction videos, you don't make much money, if at all, because of copyright claims. And so when you people take the time to watch a video and comment, that helps me in the algorithm. When you take the time to subscribe, that helps me in the algorithm. When you see your subscriber counts keep going up, it really helps keep that motivation going. And also, if you ever decide to take the extra step, join my Patreon, even for a month or two, that means a lot to me. It really helps. So I have to leave soon because I am going to be doing a live Zoom video to say hi to all the new people that have joined my Patreon, a lot of Nightwish fans. And it's a great way for us to meet face-to-face, sort of, on Zoom and just talk a little more personally than, you know, on YouTube. But nonetheless, I appreciate all the support, guys. And remember, practice hard, practice smart, no excuses, and we'll see you soon.